Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys checking out today's video. Always appreciate having you guys around. And guys, I gotta tell you right off the bat, I am freaking pissed off right now. And this is gonna be a little bit different video. Everybody that watches this channel, you know how passionate I am about environmental and conservation issues because guys, if we don't have a sustainable planet for ourselves and the future generations for this planet, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter how much of a tax break you get or how much if you're paying, 20 cents more for eggs. If we don't have an environment that can support a biodiversity of the entire food chain, the entire life cycle, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot over this deal. And what I want to relate to you today, guys, is something that the current administration has announced over the past week, environmental issues that are going to be devastating to the future sustainability of our planet. Now, before I get into this, I just want to say right off the bat, for all you politically sensitive types, this is not a political video because I don't care who would be in charge of these decisions. It doesn't matter. I don't care if they're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green, whatever. It doesn't make any difference. I'm just going to call it out when I see it, when something like this comes out. And I think that if you bear with me and you listen to what I'm getting ready to say here, and I'm going to read off some of the changes that have been implemented here, that if you don't share the outrage that I currently feel about this, you probably should reconsider the position on that. But I want to reiterate before I get into this, this is not a political video. I'm not making political commentary. I'm commenting on policy in this particular thing here. Okay, if you've missed it, and it's been easy to miss it because there's been such a barrage of executive actions and different stuff coming up every single day, everything sort of gets blurred into one. The administration announced about 2 weeks ago that they were opening up. Trump signed an executive order to open up over 250 million acres of protected, pristine wilderness area in the United States to clear-cut logging. To put this in context, this is an area about 3 times the size it's an area about 3 Californias. It's a massive area. These have been federally protected lands forever, sensitive wildlife habitat. And he's opened them up to clear-cut logging. And the head of the Forest Service is a guy named Tom Schultz, who's in charge of this, and he was a former timber lobbyist. So basically, that's sort of like having the fox guard the hen house on this particular situation. But one of the parts of this executive order that really, really should shock everybody is they are going to bypass the Endangered Species Act and allow this clear-cut logging to take place in over 250 million acres of our most pristine, last remaining wilderness in the western part of the United States here. Guys, this is going to be devastating to the ecosystem in that area. When you talk about clear cutting millions of acres of land out there, you are destroying an entire ecosystem from the smallest, insects to every part of the food chain up to the grizzly bears. Everything like that's going to be affected. There's going to be a massive amount of habitat loss. Nobody's going to benefit from this except for the timber companies. Most of this stuff, if they clear cut it, it's going to be shipped overseas to make some freaking coffee table for somebody over in Europe or something like this. This is not going to have any benefit to the United States citizen with that. It's a giveaway to the timber companies. One of the things that you can do is you can phone the White House and you can make your opposition known to this, which I've already done, and you probably should do that as well. But this right here is a big deal. Now, second to that, something else just came out yesterday. The head of the EPA, I think Lee Zeldin, announced a massive amount of regulatory deregulation efforts. And let me read you some of these. Every one of these guys is going to degrade our air and water quality. It's going to make our lakes and rivers more polluted. It's going to make our air more polluted. It's going to create more toxins and carcinogens. It's going to increase autism rates. It's going to increase cancer rates. Let me read you what they're planning to do with the deregulation here. Now, you got to remember, guys, we count on the government to protect the safety and the health of our citizens here. The private sector, we all know, you guys have heard me talk about the unchecked development here in Missouri. They're just developers are just bulldozing down wildlife habitat to put housing developments and smoke shops up. The private sector overall does not have discipline to do the right thing with environmental issues, and we rely on the government to do the right thing to protect our environment for future generations. But when you have something like this fixing to take place, there's no guardrails. Everything is just a free-for-all. Now, here's what the proposal that came out yesterday from Lee Zeldin, who, again, former timber lobbyist, now the head of the Forest Service. They plan on reconsidering regulations, which basically means they're going to eliminate these regulations on power plants, the oil and gas industry, mercury and toxic standards, which means that all of our lakes across the country have some level of mercury poisoning in it. They're basically going to deregulate that, so we're going to have more mercury contamination in our water than we ever have, which contributes to cancer and autism in children. Mercury and toxic standards going to be reconsidered. Greenhouse gas reporting, in other words, all of the scientific data that they use to measure greenhouse gases, that reporting is going to be eliminated. Wastewater regulations, which directly affect our lake and waters. Vehicle regulations, as far as the emission standards. Particulate matter, they're going to reconsider the particulate matter, which is toxic chemicals that are released by some companies to basically put more toxic particulate chemicals into our atmosphere. Hazardous air pollution, and they're going to eliminate the Science Advisory and Clean Air Board. Guys, I'm telling you right now, I don't care what your political point of view is on this. If somebody can't look at this and say this is absolutely outrageous and acceptable and dangerous, then you've got to completely go over this again to what it is. Make no mistake about it, guys. This is not meant to help you and I. This is not going to make your gas cheaper or your eggs cheaper or anything cheaper in your life. This is a gift to corporate America, the polluting arm of corporate America, because when they don't have to be responsible for regulating their pollutions, it means more profit for them. So do you think when and I'm not saying every company is like that in the country. There are some environmentally responsible companies, but there is a bunch of them that are not. So when you have some of these companies out there that are going to benefit from this deregulation, do you think they're going to take that savings and pass it on to you? If you think that, I've got a freaking bridge to sell you over, the Atlantic Ocean, because that's not what's going to happen. This is nothing but a gift to the companies that are polluting this planet, the timber industry, and everything. And guys, if you love to hunt and you love to fish and you're an outdoorsman like myself that loves the outdoors and just every part of it, you ought to be freaking outraged about this. We're going to lose 250 million acres of pristine. I'm not talking about just 250 acres of public lands. I'm talking about federally protected lands that have been in place since Theodore Roosevelt protected them back in the early 1900s. All that stuff is going to be gone right now as a gift to the timber industry. And this is freaking unbelievable. How in the world can anybody deregulate industry to pollute at will, to endanger the safety and the health and the well-being of its citizens, to endanger the well-being and safety of all the other creatures that share this planet with us, simply to make a buck? Here's the thing about it, guys. One of the things that's the cool, have you ever seen the picture that, I can't remember which astronaut took it when he was on the moon. He took a picture of the Earth, and they call it the pale blue dot. We are out here alone. We don't have another planet. All this bullshit about colonizing Mars is a bunch of crap. It's like, why do we want to colonize another planet? Because we can't take care of our own planet, and our own planet can't sustain itself because of our ignorance and our greed and our apathy and our stupidity that this right here is. So from that standpoint, it's like we don't have anywhere else to go. It's like there has got to be a balance between our environmental sustainability and our economic well-being, and there's not right now. It's completely tilted into the economic part of it, And people think that you cannot harm this environment. Guys, we are harming it right now. This planet it's going to have 10 billion humans on it in just a few years. And we live on a finite planet with finite resources. And we have got to take care of those resources because it's not just us. And we don't protect, when I'm talking about this, we don't protect the planet for the planet. The planet is going to spit us out, chew us up, and start all over again. We protect the planet for our own sustainability and our safety and the future of our children and our grandchildren. And when you start knocking away stuff like this, it's not just humans that are affected at the top of the food chain. The entire life cycle and the entire ecosystem is affected because everything relies on everything else. It's like the food chain starts at the very bottom, at the plankton and the algae and the insects. It goes up to bigger creatures. Everything's interconnected. Whether it be the oxygen produced from the trees, whether it be whatever it is like that, when you start messing with any part of that ecosystem, the upper part of the ecosystem eventually is going to suffer from that. And it's just a matter of the time frame that it takes. So anyway, guys, like I said, don't spend this. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you guys turning this into some political conversation because it's not. This is a policy. This is a public safety. It's a public health. It's an environmental situation. And I'm telling you guys right now, here's another thing. Think about if you take your family, you want to take your family to a vacation out west to see some true wilderness. And you go out there to some last untapped wilderness in the United States. Now you're going to go out there and it's going to look like dang Hiroshima and Nagasaki hit it after those. Have you also ever seen what Clearcut does to an area? It is disgusting what Clearcutting does to it. It looks like a dang nuclear bomb went off. We have got to realize that there are more important things than generating bucks off of our natural resources, because keeping stuff intact, keeping those pristine wilderness areas intact have more value. People need that. They need that escape, and they need to be able to get away to those wild areas. Other creatures need that. We do not need to do that right now. We produce 70% of our timber domestically without, taking out these 250 million acres, and we get 30% of it from Canada. Everything is working fine. We're not in a timber crunch right now. This is just, it's insanity, man, what it is. But anyway, guys, I wanted to pass that along. And like I said, from somebody like myself that used to hunt, I don't hunt anymore, but I fish, I'm an outdoorsman. And if you are concerned about the sustainability of this planet for your children and your grandchildren, make a call to the White House. Let them know that you oppose this. Let them know that you don't want to sell off our pristine public lands to the highest bidding logger out there. And we don't want more particulate in our air. We don't want more mercury. We don't want more toxins. We don't want to get polluted, man. We don't want more pollution in our atmosphere. So you can, spend $500 less when you buy a new car or something like that. It's ridiculous. So anyway, guys, let me know what y'all think about it. Like I said, I'm just disgusted about it. I'm unapologetically disgusted about it, because this is the right fight. We talk about doing the right thing and the wrong thing. Protecting our environment and keeping our environment clean and vibrant and healthy for the future generations that inherit this planet. If we don't do that, we're going to be looked upon as the biggest villains that ever was on this planet. If somebody 100 years from now lives in this toxic dump of a soup of a planet because all this stuff that we're getting ready to do right now, then just think about that for a second, because we're heading in that direction. You put 10 billion people or more on this planet, you take away environmental regulations that are designed to safeguard our air and our water quality and get rid of them so somebody can make a buck. That's evil, man. That's just freaking dark. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think about it. Talk to you later.